not there. Right. Okay, Chenran, are you ready? In 1 minute? Turn on the mic.
打开话筒。那你现在就在。Sorry, my mistake. 哦，你现在是长度上。
Until last night, I still in PowerPoint.
Chenran is controlling the PowerPoint. Okay, good. Yeah, should let you will control the PowerPoint, yeah. Yeah. You're ready. Okay. So today, I see Muhammad is there. Brother Muhammad, are you there too? Can you hear me?
Sorry? Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me. I'm talking about Brother Muhammad from in Iran there.
Hello, bro.
Yes. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Are you okay there? Where are you living? Which city are you at?
Now we are okay, bro. Today we are okay. I don't know tomorrow how about.
Okay. Let's pray that Trump doesn't go crazy tomorrow and days ahead. Yeah, that's just stupid, crazy, and bad and cruel and everything is one. You guys stay safe. Let me begin today. Today we have Hanif, Homing, Yefeng, Yuanling, Leah, and Kaila are all present here. Before we start, this is a week or two before 3 of you will have your Viva session, right? So Chenran will have your first one that will be on the 8th. As I said before, usually 1 week before the Viva, this is where we start our preparation. If we start too late, then it will be too short for the preparation. If we start too early, then you might not remember what be conveying to you, what message will be conveying to you. So, especially for 3 of you who will want to pay attention. But the rest of you too, many of the materials I'll be commenting on is a repetition of what I've been commenting for a while now for Viva session. So you'll be hearing the principles for Viva preparation today. But I will contextualize my response, our response to Chenran's presentation today, right? So we will hear your presentation today, Chenran, as if you're presenting to the Viva committee. Yeah. Now, I do have an important message to convey to all 3 of you, and I told you this before. As a supervisor, right, my very important task is responsibility to help you to maximize the probability of your success. Right? So oftentimes I will make sure that the standards are high enough, strong enough, that your thesis is a winning thesis. At the very least, it cannot fail, right? So when that level is reached beyond the survival stage of the thesis, it has to be more than that. The strong stage of the thesis, then only I will let you all submit. I do not want you all to go in the battle, get killed in the Viva. So that is my responsibility and my mission for you to go into the Viva. So in that context also, I want to tell you all that, and I have told you all this, right? It is the best is for you all to be present here in CPR USM for the Viva. So you will reduce a lot of problems that are involved in distant Viva oral defense. And I've seen that happen couple of times, more than a couple of times, where there's problem with the communication, there's problem with the signal, there's problem with the examiners getting annoyed, getting moody because of the communication problem, whatever the other problem is, right? So now some examiners will be online as well, right? But they'll be online in Malaysia, so the connection problem usually is not a problem with them, right? And they are not being evaluated. You are being evaluated. So I know that you have told me that your condition is challenging for you to come to Malaysia, right? I do want you to also know that your chances of succeeding is much better if you're here in Malaysia on campus, right? I understand that especially for both of you, Muhammad, Tanbis too, right? Basically, you're in a state of war there, right? Not basically, you are being attacked by US, and your airspace might not be the safest for you to move around. So I understand that, and I would help to defend your case. But I want you all to know that the chances of you to succeed is much better over here than it is for you to do a long distance Viva defense. Yeah. So if you can still make it, make arrangement to come. Only if you really can't, then you don't. Right? Why I'm saying this is that this is not just another not just another milestone in your career, in your life, right? PhD is like the big milestone, right? In your career for us, like especially with academics, PhD, like this, the Viva is like the step in this, the whole process of your PhD. This is the peak of it. After this, is going downhill, not downhill in a bad way, but you still got to move down the mountain, but it's not as tough as the preparation for the Viva. So this is the moment that is, if I'm a general telling you, right, go to war, it's important for you to win this battle, to win this Viva. So all our preparation is preparing for a good thesis and preparing for Viva, and of course you yourself as the defender of the Viva, right? That's the three things about your PhD. You as a scholar, you as a writer of your thesis, and you as a defender during the Viva session. So this is an important moment. If you can still make it, please do. Please come. So that would be my advice. But I understand if you cannot that, I will do my best to help defend your PhD as well, your Viva. The part that I would like you all to know is that the examiners is where I cannot control. The Viva is where I cannot control that much, right? And especially the session you're in. So the Viva will start the pre, during, post, right? So the pre is where I'm in, you're not in yet. During the Viva stage is where I cannot speak, so it's you and the examiners and the chair, right? And then the post, that's where I can come in again. The most critical period is the during Viva period. So that is and that is the most important part of it, or crucial, maybe not the most important, but most crucial. It's like the do or die. It is not fair in the sense that you can do very well in your thesis, which I think you have strong. Your thesis is strong, but the Viva is actually the hill that you must conquer, and the mountain that you must climb, and it's harder to climb from afar. So I must understand with that, right? Okay. All right. Are we waiting? You're ready with the PowerPoint now, Chenran? Ready?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Let's
Thank
let's
you.
let's give it a shot. Let's give it a try. You will manage the PowerPoint itself, yeah? Because during the Viva you'll be managing it.
Okay. Can I start? I want to share my screen.
Yes. Go ahead.
Can you guys look at my screen? Well, selamat pagi. Nama saya Zhao. It's my great honor to give you this presentation today. The thesis title is is CSR and employee performance, construction companies in Beijing, China. Well, my presentation is divided into 6 parts. To begin with, the research background. First, what is CSR? CSR started in 20th century as a context about business responsibility towards society. Over time, it has become an important strategy that gives companies competitive advantages. Although there are debates about its real influence, many companies continue to adopt CSR both as a business strategy and as a moral duty to create a positive change in society. Sorry. Second, how do we define the employee performance? Well, it includes task performance, contextual performance, and adaptive performance. In this study, it refers to how well employees carry out their job responsibility and behave in ways that benefit their organization. Third, what about the relationship between CSR and employee performance? Well, CSR's influence on organizational performance is well studied. Its influence on employee performance, especially in Beijing construction industry, is still underexplored. Then we come to the problem statement. First, China provide a meaningful context for this study. Its construction industry is among the largest in the world, playing a crucial role in GDP urbanization. However, it also faces major challenges like labor issues, pollution, and high accident rates. This makes CSR highly relevant in addressing these problems. Second, CSR implementation in Chinese construction is inconsistent. Some studies like Zhao focus social CSR, while others highlight the growing environmental CSR. This contradiction point to an area that remain underexplored, especially from an employee's perspective. Third, I choose Beijing as a study site because it's home to many construction firms and where a large number of CSR pilot projects are launched. The city also faces stronger regulatory pressures and public scrutiny, influencing how CSR is adopted and communicated. Lastly, the construction industry is labor-intensive with limited career advancement opportunities and challenging working conditions. These factors contribute to low employee performance and efficiency. Therefore, exploring whether and how CSR can improve this situation is crucial. By examining the relationship between CSR and employee performance in this context. This study aimed to fill the gap and provide valuable insight into how effectively utilizing CSR to enhance employee performance. Well, based on this, I propose 4 questions and objectives, just like shown on the slide. Well, next, let me explain the methodology. This is a quantitative study, and the main research instrument is an interview. 40 Beijing construction employees with various backgrounds were selected by purposive sampling. They are significantly knowledgeable about CSR and their company's CSR initiatives, ensuring relevant and meaningful insight for this study. Thematic analysis was used to identify key themes relevant to research objectives. Well, next part about research findings and discussion. Firstly, the result found employees define CSR differently. They can be categorized into 3 types: people-focused, environmental-focused, and social event-focused CSR. This finding, aligned with the existing studies, highlights the complexity of CSR and the absence of a single universal definition. Notably, most companies engage in CSR across multiple areas in order to achieve broader benefits and meet the various expectations of stakeholders. More importantly, the study found CSR's influence on employees depends on how they understand and connect with it. Therefore, companies should adopt a broad CSR strategy and investigate which employee CSR meanings, which can help companies involve them in relevant activities, developing positive influence on employees. Secondly, there are both positive and negative attitudes among employees, even within the same company. Positive attitude stem from a sense of fulfillment, and a negative attitude often come from factors like undesirable position, limited promotion opportunities, and the lack of recognition, lead some employees to see the work only as a way to earn money. This aligns with the existing study, which identify job satisfaction, job commitment, job involvement as the main indicators of employee attitude. To improve employee attitude, companies should address individual needs. For example, offering growth paths, better role matching, and valuing both the skills and mindset inherent. Similarly, employee perceptions of CSR also varies. Those with a positive perception believe CSR truly help society and stakeholders, and that the company is genuinely committed. Those with negative views, CSR bring no benefit to anyone, and may even be fake or misleading. Well, those shows CSR influence employees differently depends on their perceptions, highlighting the importance of clear internal communication and active employee engagement in CSR efforts. Well, regarding the link between CSR and employee attitude, the results are also mixed. Some employees say CSR motivates them, while others feel uninfluenced. This suggests that CSR is just one of the factors influencing employee attitude. Other factors include workplace culture, job type, communication, and personal factors. Therefore, companies should adopt a comprehensive approach, combining effective communication and employee engagement with attention to broader workplace situations to positively influence employee attitudes. Next finding. Employee attitudes is closely linked to performance. This study showed that positive attitude associated with better performance in areas such as timeliness, time management, proficiency, and consistency. Employees with a positive attitude generally perform better, as this enhances their motivation, job satisfaction, and job commitment. Conversely, employees with negative attitude tend to underperform. Therefore, employee attitude positively related with performance by influencing job satisfaction, commitment, and engagement. However, factors like skills, tools, workload, and work environment also play a crucial role for performance. Well, the findings support a study link employee attitude to performance. Possible but show insignificant construct with others showing insignificant connection. Positive reasons for this include strict workplace rule and the desire to keep job. Regarding CSR, this study expands previous research by identifying employee attitude as a mediator between CSR perceptions and performance. When employees have positive CSR perceptions, they tend to develop a positive attitude, which in turn boosts performance. Therefore, companies should implement CSR effectively to ensure positive perceptions that enhance employee attitudes. Since multiple factors influence performance, companies should also focus on creating a well-equipped and balanced work environment. Well, finally, to address Objective 4, the study examines the relationship between CSR attitude and employee performance, revealing a complex interplay of mediating factors. When only these three variables were considered, the study found CSR perception positively influenced employee performance, mediated by their attitude. However, the data also show that CSR perception influences employee attitude indirectly through factors such as organizational pride, job meaningfulness, trust, and perceived organizational support. These mediators make the relationship more complex and less direct. A social exchange theory offers a valuable framework for understanding, suggesting that when employees feel treated well by CSR, they are more likely to reciprocate through better perform. But this exchange is not automatic. It depends on what employees expect from their company, whether those expectations are met, and how they perceive the company's CSR efforts. For example, employees with a positive CSR perception may still underperform if they dislike their job or face personal issues. These findings show that the relationship between CSR and employee performance is not always straightforward. It's shaped by many mediating factors like employee motivation, organizational commitment, job satisfaction, and workplace identification. And these mediators are also influenced by other workplace conditions, not just the CSR, like work culture, leadership style, and workload. Therefore, the link between CSR and performance is multi-phased and employee-specific. While CSR perception can positively influence employee performance under ideal conditions, its influence depends on how employees how employee perceive it, and on many other surrounding factors. Nevertheless, when assume all factors are constant, CSR perception is positively related to employee performance, and the social exchange theory effectively explains the connection. Well, last but not least, the research conclusion part. Well, considering the limited time available, I won't list them one by one. Just shown as a slide, it's my main finding. And the next part is contribution and future direction. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Chenran. Let's see where do we start? Yeah. I just want to say that in presentation, right? There are a number of things that you want to achieve in the presentation. I think the first and foremost is to communicate. To communicate is to communicate, to be one with. So is there my take on this, my feel from the presentation is that the connection between you and the audience is lacking. It's not strong, right? One of the things that happened in your presentation is that you have your slides and you have you, right? So the slide, the audience is reading the slide and you are talking at the same time. So, and then the audience, the examiner, me or whoever the audience is, can get lost between your talking points, what you say, and what's on the slide, right? So, one of the things, a number of things you should be doing in terms of improving the presentation is you want to use your cursor to point to where you are presenting, right? I don't know whether you all feel that way. You look at the slide, you do not know where she's talking, where and which point are you talking about, right? So I don't know which point are you talking about when you come to the slide. Is this the first part or the second part of the point? We don't know. And so you need to point to which part of the slide that you're talking, right? So that is the one improvement you want to have in your presentation. Use your cursor to point to the slide. Yeah. Second thing is that if you're using this method of presenting, where you have points as well as phrases, not whole sentences, right? You have points and phrases, not sentences. Then you're explaining the points and the key phrases become even more important, right? It's like you've got to connect with the audience, right? So you're explaining to us, not reading it, right? If you're using a reading method, if you're using a reading presentation, like what Lanbin does sometimes, you're having a text, which is another method of presenting. not the best method, but still a method of presenting. Then you can read, you can have the whole text and you go word by word, word by word, word by word. Then the audience, the examiner can say, oh, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here, because you're reading, right? So if you want to use the reading method, right, which can also work, right? It's not wrong. It's not the most powerful method, but it is a method, right? I personally prefer the explaining method, where you have your key points when you explain. So you look at the camera, you explain. Right? So that will become even the most powerful method. You are actually explaining. Remember, you're presenting, you're not reading. But you're using the reading method. You did say to me because you're English and all that, right? So if you're using that method, then do the whole text, lay out the whole text and read it, and then point to your text. Right? It is okay to do that, right? So you don't lose the examiners, and the examiners do not get lost, right? So you've got to make a choice whether you want to do the explaining method or the reading method, right? Both are okay. Explaining is much more powerful, much more convincing, much more persuasive. It says that you know your materials, you know what you want to say, and you connect even better with the audience because you're explaining, right? You're not reading. But if you're not sure about the explaining, you're not sure about your communication, English and all that, then you do the reading method, right? So if you're the reading method, then you have to have the full text. You got what I'm saying, Chenran? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah?
Yeah, understand what you mean. To be honest, sorry, can I interrupt a little?
Go ahead.
To be honest, until last night, I still changing my PowerPoint. After I reviewing my study and my thesis, I found some points that really confused me, and I don't know. I don't know what the examiner will pay more attention to in my thesis, or which chapter or which point, which part. So I want to change my PowerPoint and to show my whole studies to them. But during this process, you know. For example, when I see a chapter, I think it's very important to show. So I make a point out it, and when I see or reading other chapter, I found maybe examiner will pay more attention on this. That's why. I feel today's presentation is not good because I always change my thinking and always change my PowerPoint. Yes, I even don't have enough time to take exercise about my presentation. It's really confusing me. So very sorry for today's presentation. Yeah.
You don't need to be sorry. It's okay. This is the process. Now, if my take on this one is this: your English is good. Your English is good, sufficiently good for you to make a presentation where you explain, right? Instead of reading. So I will not worry because. Now you are talking to me and explaining to me. There's no problem in terms of my understanding your pronunciation and all that. Our pronunciation is not accurate because we're not a native speaker, right? But for communication purposes, I can understand you, and you can understand me. You can respond to what I'm asking you, so that is a good thing. And I can understand what you're saying, and you can explain to me what you're doing, right? So my thought is you're better off explaining than reading, like what you did just now. Just now you were reading, so you can do the explaining. Okay. Since you are not sure of what you want to present, right? So we will go through the slides, and I will highlight certain things to you, so that you become clearer. Right? So in Viva presentation, clarity is very, very important. We're talking about presentation, and clarity is very important. So you have a few things that you want to do with the Viva presentation, right? First, you want to highlight the topic, right? So highlight the topic, the title of your research. So my research is about this and this and this. So the title itself can help. So let's go to your title. It's not you, Chenran is controlling. It's good that you control it. Let's go to your title, Chenran. Can you do it? Share your screen again, share your PowerPoint again. Excuse me for a while while you're doing that. Yesterday I went to General Hospital again, so I got some new medications.
Can you see? Already share my slide.
Wait, Chenran, wait.
No?
Wait. Dr. Reevany is at toilet now. Wait. It's white. We cannot see the slides, Chenran. You don't see it. Okay, try to share screen again. You cannot see.
Sorry. I share my slide.
We cannot see. Still white.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Wait. Maybe the speed up.
Maybe can I translate it to my friends?
可以了。
Try to share screen again. Yeah, you click the. Yes, click that one. I think.
Okay.
Alright.
Sorry.
Right.
Sorry, this is my first time to share my slide.
Yeah, good. Just give me. Oh, I left it. It's okay.
In the tissue here.
No, the tissue might not be sanitized. It's the cotton thing. All right. Okay. So, all right. Here we have one ad. So you will start with, you can say, so corporate social responsibility and employee performance, construction companies in Beijing, China. So here is where you can establish, so you can say, so professors, chairperson, just now you started well, you started with Selamat Pagi, that's good because you establish kind of a personal rapport with the examiners and the committee. So you said, so my research, my thesis, my PhD is about CSR and employee performance. I'm looking at the connection of these two in the context of construction companies in Beijing, China. So this is the focus of my research. So not just putting your title, you're explaining your title, right? Simple, it's not hard. So by doing that, you're bringing the listeners to your presentation. So I'm looking at CSR and employee performance in the context, in the community or the industry of construction companies in Beijing. And you have the title that says it, only to emphasize the title, right? Simple. So the title helps to orientate the examiners. So we have this one, you go to the next slide,
Next, the quote.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So okay. All right. You do notice that there is a spelling error there, right? Findings and this cushion, this caption or something like that. So you want to check your what is this? Your spelling, yeah. Your discussion is the wrong spelling. Okay. You can skip the slide. You don't even have to show the slide, right? By the way, the discussion is wrongly spelled there. Right? So anyway, but stay on. So you're right. You have the research background. You have problem statement, research questions, objective methodology, and key findings and discussion. Yeah, that's it. Right? This is the right format. You don't need to have more. And of course, you have conclusion at the end there. Right? So this is okay, but you do not need to show this slide because showing a slide itself takes time, right? Okay. So you can delete this slide. You do not need this slide. Okay. So you go to the research background. How many slides do you have?
Sorry, I something confused. Due to my question stems from my problem statement and stems from the key gap in existing studies and the practical issues in your organization. If I need to add some key literature gap in there.
We will go through.
Yeah.
We will go one by one. Don't worry about it, right? We'll go through your slide one by one. So I'm going to give you feedback one by one there. All right. So you have a research background. But your timing is good because you started at just now at 10:11. You finished at 10:25. So it's within 15 minutes of presentation. That's good. That's less than 15 minutes, by the way. So I wouldn't have to worry about the time. But now you're changing your method because you're going to explain. I would encourage you to explain, but you will need to decide. Right? So I don't see you have problem with explaining. So research background. How many slides you have? This one for research background. You have the second one.
Okay.
How many?
This one. That one.
You have two. Okay, you have two. You have two slides for research background. Yeah.
Yeah.
So reduce two slides into one slide.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Reduce two slides into one slide. The research background doesn't have to be a big context. You do not have to explain what CSR is and all that. You just reduce it. So you think of what you want to extract and put into research background. The research background, what is this? So sometimes when you have too many things, it takes away time that's valuable for you to make your argument. In general, yeah, and this is for all of you as well. In general, you want to establish a research background. The general rule of thumb is each slide is about 3 minutes. So if you have 5 slides, it's already about 15 minutes. It's already the maximum there, right? So you want to think about each slide. You want to reduce the time which slide you want to increase the time, right? So research background, you do not have to spend a lot of time on research background. So you just have one slide, that is enough. Right? We'll go through back again. We want to make sure that you have problem statement. Okay. The problem statement there, one of the things I noted, I saw in the problem statement, you have why Beijing, researchers' accessibility, familiarity. Remove that one. That's not a justification of why you choose the city. Right? You're saying that, oh, because it's close to my house. That's not a good reason to choose a place. And the rest is fine. You want to remove, delete researchers' accessibility and familiarity. Remove that one. That's not justification for methodology. The rest is fine. The rest is fine. The problem statement. This is not the problem statement, by the way, Chenran, because this is basically you're explaining your sampling, right? Why China? Why Beijing? Why construction company? So you're talking about your sampling. So problem statement is not just this. This has to do with the sampling, right? So let's look at the next slide. We'll come back to this slide if necessary. Okay. So now, just now you have your research background now, right? You have 2 slides on your research background. So this thing here, this slide here, this is actually explaining about your sample, your sampling, rather than not this one. This one is research one. The previous one, the problem statement. Okay. So your research background just now, you have 2 research background, right? So one of the research background is actually your problem statement, right? Your problem statement is explaining the idea of what, like you were asking me just now, right? About the gap, what is the situation there, and what has not been explained, right? So you're problematizing it academically. You're looking at the phenomena. So the phenomena, this is connected to your sampling, but the sampling comes later. Connected to the construction company, connected to the employees, connected to CSR. So your research background, you have 2 slides. One of the slides turn it into problem statement, right? So this one here, you can remove a lot of it, right? And you can remove a lot of it because this has to do with sampling, right? And whatever that is relevant, you can put it under the previous slide. Can I look at the previous slide again? The research background. Okay. See your research background talks about employee performance and then the influence of CSR and employee performance there. So this is actually the problem statement. And why is this an academic problem? So when we say problem statement, it's not a social problem, it's an academic problem. It's a theoretical problem. Why is it a problem statement? You need to explain why you're looking at employee performance and CSR in the context of manufacturing companies in Beijing. That's what you're explaining, right? So that's your problem statement. So you got me? So this can be the part that you put under problem statement, not the other ones now. Right? So while the influence of CSR on company performance is established, there's a lack of research on relationship between CSR and employee performance in the construction companies in Beijing, China. So, when you explain to the examiners, you say, this is the study I'm pursuing. I would like to study, research, and theorize this phenomenon of the connection between CSR and employee performance in the construction companies, right? So the part of why construction companies, you go to the next slide, right? To the next slide. It just can put some of this, the why construction companies you put under construction, the previous slide, because you can talk about the importance of construction companies. And so, but you do not have to talk too much about it. But you are only looking at the idea of connection between the two within the context of construction companies, because that's your title, right? So you're emphasizing your title. Okay?
Okay, I know.
Right? So, so now what you want to do is to have clarity in your presentation, right? So you are clear when you present your first slide, your title, what you're presenting, right? You want to, you are explaining it. So imagining you're explaining your slide rather than reading it, explaining it. Then you go to research background, and then you go to your problem statement, right? You're explaining why you're carrying out this research, why why is it an academic problem? The academic problem is because there's a lack. You go back to the slide before this one. So the academic problem, the problem statement is that there's a lack of research on the relationship between CSR employee performance in the construction companies. So that is, there are studies on CSR and employee performance, but there's a lack of study between CSR and employee performance in the construction companies. Right? So that is the part that you want to highlight. Right? Okay? You can explain this, right, Chenran?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you can explain this. That's okay. Now let's look to the next slide. And next slide. Okay, this is actually very important slide. As I emphasize to all of you, the compass of the research is the research question. This is the compass. This is the essence of your research, and all research is about answering research questions. So, what are the meanings? So you want to repeat your research questions, right? Don't just show it. Just now you were just showing it. Yeah, are you asking the audience or the examiners to just look at it and read it on their own? You want to repeat it, right? So you want to. This is where you want to read your research question. What are the meanings employees attach to their company's CSR practices? What expectations do employees give for connecting CSR to their work attitudes, right? So you can even explain about the use of meanings and explanations, right? Because your research becomes important when you study the meanings the employee attach to the CSR practice. So the company might be doing certain CSR programs, or might be practicing certain CSR activities, but the meanings attached to the CSR activities or CSR practice are not positive or negative, or they have different meaning. So this is the part that you want to explain, and this is one of the key findings afterwards, right? So you talk about your research question, you can even explain it further, you can elaborate further. This is actually an important part. So you go through one by one. At the very least, you read your research question one by one again, because you want to refer back to a research question to show that you have answered your research question. So in the presentation, you have the introduction, you have the research background, you have the problem statement, you have a research question, and then once you establish the research questions, then the clarity about your research questions, then you show that your research had the right methodology and the key findings that answer your research questions, right? So that is the one that you want to demonstrate. So So this slide is an important slide, and you want to read it, you want to emphasize it, okay? So let's go to what's mentioned. So what is the theory? I said, number 4, what is the theory that explains the connection between CSR practice and employees' performance in Beijing context? So you can say this is the, you want to develop a new theorizing, you want to do a theory building to explain this connection between employees' performance and CSR practices. Right? This is actually the part that you want to highlight. Why? Because this is the theoretical vacuum. This is the theoretical contribution we want to make that has not been explained by the previous theories or literature. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so your methodology, see, methodology can go really deep, but you do not want to spend too much time on your methodology. So this is where you explain the samplings now, right? You talk about the samplings now. You bring the sampling here in your explanation, right? So you talk about 40 participants, the criteria when you choose that one. You don't have to go too deep inside it. You just explain the sampling is important, and how you analyze it. You do thematic analysis, and then you get the result. So you don't want to spend 3 minutes on this one. You can just spend 1 minute. That's enough, right? But you can outline like this, but then explain just 1 minute. That's enough. Take note of that, right? Now let's go to your key findings, because it's something that a bit troubling for me. We'll go to the next one. Okay, not there yet, but it's okay. Your research is qualitative, right? So you're discovering, unearthing the meanings, the expectations, and the explanations of employees about what they understand as, or how they interpret the CSR practices of the company and their own performance, right? You use the word. The first finding is good. The first finding, this one is good. So instead of saying finding 1, the title there, add the word key finding. Key findings 1. Right? Key finding 1. So you have a lot of findings by just highlighting key finding 1. So he again explain that the construction companies mainly have 3 types of CSR practices or CSR programs. One is people focused, the other one is environmental focused, and the last one is social event focused. Now, this is one of your findings, key findings, right? And then you can, again, do not need to spend a lot of time this one. You spend about 1 minute, that's enough. Go to the next one. Okay, this is where you use the word mediating factor, right, Chenran?
It's about the discussion.
Which portion?
Basically, my first finding. Yeah.
This is one of the next slide. I forgot which one you use the word mediating factor. This slide or the next slide? I think the next slide, I think. You want to put
Next slide.
Chenran, can you hear me?
Yes, I.
Okay, yeah. Is this the one that, or maybe the next one? I'm not sure which one. So let's be clear. Yeah? So be careful. If you use the word mediating factor, that often is used in quantitative analysis. So you do not want to open the door for the examiners to come and kind of attack you. Mediating factor, that's actually a quantitative analysis. You did not identify the mediating factor. How do you know it's mediating factor, not moderating factor, which has different meaning, which has different effect, right? So you want to use a different label. The meanings employees attach is that there's something else that influence their performance. And the thing that influences their performance is what factors reflected attitude. So are the influencing factors. So you can you can use the influencing factors. You use the influencing. That's good. In your explanation, in your presentation, is not using mediating. Yeah. So avoid the word mediating. Use the word other influencing factors. Other influencing explanation, that the employees use to show the connection between their performance and CSR. The reason being, because your research is purely qualitative, am I right? Yeah. Your research is purely qualitative, right, Chenran?
Yeah, qualitative.
Yeah, there's no quantitative part, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so avoid using those words, right? In fact, I will not use the word factor, but it's fine to use it here. So do not use the word mediating, not the word moderating. You can use the word influencing factor, is fine, right? Because that will go into the quantitative analysis, quantitative research, and they open the door for other problems, if you know like that. So be clear about that one, yeah. Now this is where this is actually your key finding. When you say finding number 2.1 or 2, is that in reference to your research question number 2 or key findings number 2 in general?
My research number 2 is what's explanation to employee skill for connection between CSR and the employee attitude. So let's go to the finding 2. Finding 2. Sorry. Finding 2. First, through this study, I found employee in Beijing construction company have both a positive and a negative attitude, even they are in the same company. The factor can reflect their attitude include the job satisfaction, job commitment, and job involvement. And the other factors influencing their attitudes about the leadership style and work culture, personal life also play a role. This finding about the employee's attitude at the work, and then I found. Employee also have a different CSR perceptions. I categorize them into 2 types: positive perceptions and negative perceptions. Positive perception due to they feel their CSR initiatives benefit to society and stakeholders. Sometimes will produce some unexpected positive outcomes, such as environmental CSR initiatives. Can protect the environment. Meanwhile, sink some energies.
Okay.
And then about the different perceptions about CSR, and then
I wanna see what the relationship between CSR and employee attitude. And all of the results seen from employees' response.
Okay, so in that case, you do not want to say that this finding answer question number one, this finding answer question number two. They just omit that part. What you want to emphasize is this is the part you're going to spend more time on, your key findings and the new theorizing, right? You have come up with an explanation, with a theoretical understanding or conceptual understanding about the connection between the employees' performance and CSR practices, right? And is the attitudes and meanings and the interpretation, right? And the perception of CSR. That is actually the theorizing that you have made, and that is a theoretical contribution. So you want to the title, the heading, rather, not title, the heading of your slides, right? You can call it theoretical contribution, right? So when this is like a new theory explaining the connection between the employees' performance and CSR practices. You have this one contribution. So mathematical analysis. Yeah, so number 4, the integrated theoretical framework, that's actually the most important part of the contribution. That is, theoretical contribution is the important contribution you're making, right? So, you can include the idea of 1 and 4 in there. So, the idea of insights coming from the employees, and the insights is actually the one that is determining or not influencing the performance of the employees, right? So that is the theoretical contribution you're making. So in fact you can omit the conclusion heading, just put theoretical contribution. In fact, your slides before this, the one that you were explaining about the connection, that is a theoretical contribution. That's all these slides. Yes, the employee attitude and performance. Yeah.
Perception, CSR and the attitude.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so there is a theoretical contribution. So there is the attitude, as in the interpretation, the meanings they attach to CSR practices, and that actually influences their performance. So you can call it theoretical contribution. Right? So the last 3 slides or so is where you want to spend time explaining more, right? Because we're talking about theoretical contribution. So what you want to do in the whole presentation is to say, look, there's a problematizing that you have developed about this phenomena, this context of CSR and employees' performance and in the manufacturing industry, and the whole presentation leads to this theoretical contribution, right? So you have come up with a new theorizing about why we have this connection and what influences this connection, right? And this is a theorizing that is coming from the employees themselves, from the employees, like what you said, is not lived experience, right? And explanation. And so So that is still a theoretical contribution, and that is actually the part that would be appreciated by the examiners when you say you have made theoretical contribution, which means you're advancing the knowledge of CSR, you're advancing the knowledge of employees' performance, you're advancing the knowledge of the phenomena that's happening in the manufacturing company industry in Beijing itself, right? So, so that is the kind of a highlight of your presentation, right? So you want to lead to that one as well. That kind of like the climax of your presentation there, right? So you do have all the materials here. It's about rearranging the materials, removing certain parts and highlighting certain parts of your material, right? Okay. What I will also do, and just to remind you of certain things for your Viva, all right, presentation, and have you attended any online Viva yet, Chenran?
Sorry?
Have you attended any Viva online? Yeah? Viva.
You mean?
Other people's Viva, of course, not yours.
Yes. I see my friend's Viva experience.
Say that again?
Her friends, but not.
Your friends? Here in
Yeah.
CPR or
Other university.
other universities?
Not
Okay,
university.
which university? I need to. Which university? In China, in Malaysia?
Oh, UKM.
UKM. Okay. UKM, they allow you to. I thought UKM doesn't allow you to be listening.
Yeah, the presenter recording, make a recording.
I'm not supposed to, but it's okay because I'm one. I examine students from UKM too, so. Okay.
We can record and share with the friends.
Okay. Now, in USM we have maybe it's similar, but there's some
Different.
kind of different in USM. So it's not quite the same exactly, but there's some similarities. So yeah. So now I'm gonna go through the principles that I've been using to guide let me share this one. You got to stop sharing. This is, by the way, in the Telegram. It's already in your Telegram. You got to stop sharing first so that I can share.
I stopped here.
Yeah.
I just worry I will exceed the time.
Yeah, that's why you got to practice.
Yes.
You got to practice that you do not exceed the time. Right? But I will explain better. You stop now? Okay, good. Oh, no, not yet. Still there. You got to stop sharing.
Okay.
Not going to the end, just stop the sharing part. Okay, good. All right, okay. So I'm going to share mine. Where's mine there? Okay, is it up there? Yeah, okay, good. I think you all have seen this one, but I'm going to repeat this one. It's important to repeat, right? So the 12 principles of Viva preparation, right? So the principle number one, you always want to remember that is the principle of sensing. Sensing means you go in the Viva without the preconception of whether you should be strong, whether you should how should you, prejudge the examiners and all that. You just suspend that thought. You go in, you will sense, feel what the examiners are asking you, right? Or each and everyone is asking you or communicating with you, right? So the sensing is to feel. What would be the Chinese word for sensing? Yeah. This is in Yongchun, you use the sensing part. I've demonstrated this before, right? There's a kind of have you all seen Yongchun practice like this? No, right. So Yongchun, I actually learned a bit from Yongchun. Like this, like this, yeah. Right, sensing, right? You feel the energy, go back and forth, right? You feel the energy of the opponents, right? So long time ago, I kind of learned Yongchun as a master Yongchun guy came into my house. He taught me this sense, the energy. Is it strong? Is it light? Right? You feel the energy. So you feel the energy of your examiner coming in, right? So this is actually important. You do not want to attack, not fight before you sense the energy. So and then you got the ability to. Is this person asking me to answer the question or asking me to defend my position, right? As the person is arguing with me, so you're like a master feeling the energy coming in first. Do not judge, just feel first, right? So it's not about you must argue or you do not want to argue, you want to change your thesis or do not want to change your thesis. It's not about that, it's about feeling first, right? And then only you can say, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. But feeling must always be there, and you want to feel the examiner in each slot of their discussion with you. Each question you feel, oh, this is about this, this is about this. Because I've seen examiners that ask question that is already in the thesis, right? They just want to test whether you know or not. They just want to see whether you know your material or not. Sometimes they really do not know. They want to ask, right? Because they haven't read your thesis yet or completely, or they have read your thesis, they forgot about your thesis. Right? So the mode of that you want to use is almost like between Sifu and Tuti, always like that. Okay? Always respectful. You do not want to be disrespectful. That's very important, right? That's basically the Asian culture too. Always respectful, right? Okay, so that is the principle. You need to sense whether you need to argue or not to argue. You need to refer. Please look at my chapter 2 or look at my chapter 3, this page or that page, and then you will need to decide whether you say, okay, I will change. I will take. I will do what you suggested. Sometimes they suggest, see, you haven't looked at this literature yet. Why haven't you looked at this literature? Sounds like they're attacking you. But you can say, well, you sense that, well, what this person or examiner is saying is that you just need to read the literature. You put the literature in. You say, oh, thank you very much for that suggestion. I'll do that. Just putting the literature in, just one paragraph of the literature review. One page, that's easy to do correction, right? So you do not fight for something like that, right? You do not want to fight, just say, oh, it's just they might say, how come you haven't read this one? This is very important for you to read. And it's like attacking you like that. Yeah? You haven't do that. But the end is just saying there's one literature. I say, okay, let me do that. Yeah? So you do not need to be defensive all the time. You just need to know how much change they're asking you. Now, basically, if the change is minimal change, right, like a piece of literature or correction or explanation, Those things you can do. The part that you want to argue is when they ask you to go and collect new data. That's where you want to argue. Right? That's where you want to say, my data is strong enough, right? So not that, because your data is strong enough, right? Then you got to defend why your data is strong. This is where you need to have that clarity. Why your sample is sufficient and strong, and this is where you say, look, I had 40 different respondents, informants. I've looked into this different variations in their study. I'm looking at Beijing. I'm not looking at Shanghai. I'm not looking at I'm looking at the manufacturing company. I'm not looking at the service sector. These are all your defense if they ask you to collect new data, because collect new data often also means resubmission. Remember, there's 5, right? So number 1, the result is basically no change at all, right? Absolutely no change. There's like scale number 1. Very seldom do people get it. Right? I have given people 1, by the way. I'm a good examiner. Number 2 is minor changes. Number 3 is major change. 2 and 3 are the common one, right? Number 4 is resubmission. Resubmission also means Viva. So you got to go through, sending a new thesis draft and then go through the Viva again. The 5th one is fail. That's what you do not want, of course. So the 4 and 5 you do not want. 4 is often resubmission based on new data coming in. So the principle number 1 is probably the most important principle, to know when to change, when not to change, when to counter argue, when to not argue, right? So you only know that by doing sensing. So connecting with the examiner to see, you can always ask, are you asking me to do this? Is this what you like me to do? If you're not sure, you can ask that, right? So principle number 1. So you got that, Chenran?
Yes, I got it. I understand.
Yeah, good, all right. So number 2, principle of mighty coconut tree, and this is connected to principle number 1, right? And I've told you all this before. Right? I have 2 students of mine, right? One from China, one from my first student from China, by the way, and the other one is from Malaysia, right? These are the first 2 students I got. But the one from China, whatever the examiners give, she will argue back. Right? And then I have a Malaysian student. Whatever the examiners ask him to do, he said, "Oh, it's my mistake. It's my weakness. I will make the correction. 2 very opposite response, right? But what happens is both did well, right? The examiners for my student from China, my first student from China, they say, well, she knows her stuff very well. She can argue well, she can respond well, she can explain well. So she knows her stuff very well. So see, this is the matching between the response and the question and the examiner. So the sensing is really important part. She knows when to argue basically, and she argued quite well, So sometimes I was quite afraid because she argued too much. But anyway, it matches the energy that comes in, and she responded well. The mighty coconut tree is the one that I'm highlighting, which is my student from Malaysia. He basically just almost like giving in, like the coconut tree. When the storm comes, they go, the wind blows this way, follows the wind, wind follows the wind. It's like, it is my mistake, it's my weakness, keep on admitting. His research was about single mothers, by the way. And the examiners, they're all women. So she did not fight, which I thought is a good strategy, because at the end, the examiner said, well, he's very open-minded. Right? So the 2 different evaluations. One is that she knows her stuff very well. She can, she knows her stuff. She's very knowledgeable. This one said, well, he is very open-minded. He's a good scholar. Very good, open-minded, willing to change. Right? So very different very different evaluation to different response. So that one of the things that that can work very well is the principle of mighty coconut tree. The coconut tree doesn't fall down. As long as the changes are the changes you can make very easily, especially, right? Now this is where one of our thesis strategy comes in. Now I ask you all to do thick data, collect a lot of data, and do a thick data analysis. That's where we want them to go and critique on your data. Say there's too much of this, you do not need too much, it's repetitive, you know. They say it's repetitive, that's good, by the way. When they say you have too much, that's good. Because too much is easy to handle. You remove them, right? So that is something you want to use the mighty coconut tree principle. Let them criticize and you just remove it. That's a good one. That's a good Sun Tzu strategy. Let them attack what you want them to attack. Right? So let them redirect them to the fight that you want to fight. You do not want to fight the fight that you do not want to fight. You know, so it's like Sun Tzu talks about terrains, you know your terrain, right? So you want to let them to go to the valley, and then at the valley you just use your archers and shoot the archers to them, and it's easy winning, right? Number two, the mighty coconut tree. So you do not need to fight, you just accept the criticism if the criticism is for little changes only, right? If the blow, let the wind blow if it's not, if there's no or little impact correction. Okay? What I've seen is that there was one situation where my student from Malaysia, he argued way too much. He blew up the Viva. So from the Viva, you know, from what went into, it came up a 3 and almost a resubmission. So there was a serious one because he keeps on fighting. So when he doesn't need to fight, that's bad. Number 3, principle of clarity. So the learn, you need to understand that this clarity is your weapon to win in Viva. Right? Clarity. Why is it a weapon? I say because clarity helps you to calm yourself down whenever there's a lot of questioning, you know, coming on. Right? It also helps you to demonstrate that you know your stuff, and it helps the examiner to understand clearly what you want to present. So I say use listing. If they say, okay, I don't understand, what is your problem statement? So okay, you say my problem statement, 3 things. Number 1 is about this, number 2 is about this, number 3 is about that. What is your, tell me about your methodology. My methodology is 1, 2, 3, 4. It can be 3, it can be 4, you know? But you know, don't make it 10 things. Cannot remember, right? I would say 3. The Chinese has the saying, like, what is it? 无三不成理。没有听过啊？
没有听过。
现在有了，现在这个是的成理。那是名称无三不成理。
What's the meaning? What do you want to express?
第二、第三。
没有3个这样子。
没有3条。就是中国人讲话就是啊，我讲第1条，我讲第2条，我讲第3条就是不多不少，基本上领导讲话就是老3条。
First, second.
Yes. And it shows that you know your stuff, you know. So when you ask immediately, say, there's 3 things here, or there are 4 things here, or 5 things here, right? So immediately it shows that okay, there's a systematic thinking in your presentation and argument. So the essence of the arguments. The principle of clarity is also about the essence of argument. So you need to know the your contribution of contribution to theory. There are three main. There are a lot, but I like to highlight these three. Right? And each of your presentation, you know the essence of the argument. So, why do you choose manufacturing companies, industry? You have your reasons, you have the essence of your argument. Right? So, if you do not have the three, you have the essence, the most important part. What's the essence? Right? So, you can briefly and clearly and convincingly explain your thesis. So, sometimes you say, okay, sometimes the examiner say, okay, before you start, give me a short description about what your thesis is about. They can usually go like that, right? And some people will go, what? No, you say, oh, my thesis is about three main things. My thesis is about five main things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's about clarity. What a problem statement is, what the methodology is, what the key findings are. You know, you have that list in your mind immediately. Right, so that shows that you can convince, that shows that this is your work. Sometimes they want to test what is your theoretical contribution. So your thesis, your problem statement there, your methodology, your key findings, your contribution. Be clear about that. Okay, so that's number 3. So number 4, principle number 4, let me go up. Okay, principle number 4 is contribution to knowledge. So one of the areas that can go up and down in your scale is the contribution of knowledge. Because we're talking about PhD right now, contribution of knowledge is very, very crucial. So you do want to highlight in your presentation what your theoretical contribution is. So you have moved the knowledge forward, right? Before, the literature has not explained this. With my research, the literature has explained this. And it's not just about empirical, it's not just about this study has not been conducted in Beijing or China, but it's also about the theory. The theory has not explained this, but my theory, I have developed, I've expanded the theory to explain this phenomenon, right? So before, people cannot explain the connection between this performance and CSR employee, or cannot they do not have a theory on manufacturing companies, CSR, right? So, but now I have developed it, right? And I develop it in 1, 2, 3 ways. So you make it very convincing, right? So contribution to knowledge. So this is sometimes the candidates have contribution knowledge, but they are not clear about the contribution knowledge. So go in with that in mind, right? Ultimately, your thesis is about something new, something novel, so originality. If you look at the thesis assessment, one of the part of the assessment is about novelty or originality. What's original? What's novel? What's new in your research? So new theoretically. Okay. So that's number 4. Number 5 is about reaffirming. Reaffirming, the principle of reaffirming helps when there's confusion. Sometimes the examiner, they come up with one question, and they come another question, they come up another question, they come up another question. Like 4 or 5 questions come in all together during a Viva. Or they just, thank you, it's a bit cold for me too. Okay. We like it cold. My bedroom, I have like air conditioner, I have 3 fans. Crazy. This is also my study. I have air conditioner and I have 2 fans. One at the top, the other one my feet. Crazy renovations. Scandinavian students complaining. Scandinavia is a very cold country, right? They have only one month of summer, right? They go to my classroom, right? Last time when I was still teaching. They're complaining about how cold this is, Scandinavia is like where you can find aurora and all that, right? The midnight sun, right? All this sun that comes in and goes away, right? They complain about Malaysian classroom being very cold. So if they complain, it is very cold. Well, Malaysia is like cold. Anyway, coming back to this one, the principle of reaffirming helps when there's confusion and there's bombardment of questions. You're doing this, you're doing that. and then you do not know how to answer the question. So how do you answer the question? You go back to your thesis statement or your research question. So you say, my research question is about 1, 2, 3. So I've discovered in the findings that this. So it answers my research question number 1, it answers research question number 2, which answers research question number 3. Or you can say that if I understand correctly from what you said just now, it relates to my research question number 2. So the research question is your compass, remember that compass, right? So when you get confused or lost, you go back to your compass, which is your research questions, right? So you reaffirm your research question or reaffirm your thesis statement. Your thesis statement is about the connection between the CSR and employees' performance in the context of manufacturing companies in Beijing. So, and I found that whatever we found. So that's your thesis statement. So you go back to the center. You go back to the compass or the center. So by reaffirming that, you like a good politician, right? A politician, people ask them some question, they don't answer directly. They don't answer yes or no, right? So in my experience, and then they say, the question is really about this. So they don't answer yes or no, you know, it's like politician, right? They don't answer yes or no. So we got to be a good politician here too, right? But we are not deceiving them. We are bringing them to your research. Remember, you are the authority of your research. So this is your battlefield. This is your field. So you can win because you know your field. Sometimes they go off and talk about Africa, they talk about Alaska, you know, but you say, okay, you know, my research is about this. As long as you answer research question, you have delivered, right? So the research question is the one that brings back you to the center, that helps for you to answer any question. And if you are not clear, then you go back to that one. Right now. So number 6, so number 5, now we'll go number 6. Number 6 is the principles of aligning and redirecting. This is very, very important when it comes to any kind of attack that comes in, right? So your research only question about the employees. How come you don't ask the managers? Like that, right? Managers is also important, right? So he said, oh, I agree very much. Aligning is like Tai Chi, right? Tai Chi is a Kung Fu style Tai Chi. No longer Wing Chun, right? Wing Chun is the block and the punch is the same thing, right? You punch and the block is the same thing. Tai Chi is using the energy of the enemy to redirect the energy of the enemy to fight the enemy.
移花接木
啊，对。Okay, yeah, that's the strategy. So you said, you know what? I agree so much with what you said just now. That's a very important point. So you never say but. Omit the word but.
No but.
No but. Use the word and. Yeah, I agree so much with you. In fact, I sleep about this question for 3 nights. I'm thinking about this question, something like that. You know? Or you said, I discussed, your point is so important. I discussed with my supervisor about this point as well. You know, I went to see him. He didn't see him, but he presented during a group supervision. I talked about it. So you do not belittle or negate what the examiner emphasizes. You don't. Well, this is not important. You don't discard it. You don't dismiss it. You say this is important, right? You recognize it's important. And then you use the word and, right? You don't use the word but. And this is very important. And I've been thinking about this question a lot. And how come, the manager's perspective is equally important? And what we discovered is that, say that, right? So you use the word and instead of but. Yeah, so but, and sometimes in our session, you hear what I say, right? Many times in the Viva, the but is still brought in, you know, the but is still in. I was so concerned. I remember, but last time, right, you listen to some of your friends' Viva, the but keeps on coming in. Then becomes an argument, but becomes argument. Remember, the examiners have absolute power, right? It's almost like a king over there, you know, like a Huangdi. They have absolute power. They can kill you, they can do whatever they want to do. I don't have power there. So you got to use the power of the examiners to you know, to redirect and solve the problem, right? So and never want to dismiss any attack. You say you align and then you redirect. Use the word and. You know, you recognize the importance of the question, so you don't make the person feel, you know, belittled with the question. You say recognize the importance of the question, and then and avoid using. That's an interesting question. That sounds bad, right? That's an interesting question. You see, the word interesting question has been used too often that the listeners don't know that this is like this is a BS. You know? They're trying to BS me, you know, BS is bullshit, right? And BS me, trying to sweet talk me. So avoid using the interesting question. Use go. That's a very important point. That's I know. So and I say it in a way that is very sincere. Although it might not be sincere, but I'm sincere. But I know you got to say it with conviction. That is an important point. It's an important perspective. So that's you know. So avoid using the word interesting. Always recognize you know the examiner's point before you redirect it, and use the word and instead of but. Yeah. Okay. This is the gentle art of verbal self-defense. This whole course on its own, by the way. Number 7. Okay. Material preparation. Make a list of what you want to bring and check before you leave. But in the context, if you're online, make the list. You know. Couple days before that, so your Viva will be on the 8th, right? Chenran, it will be 1 week from now. So a few days before that, you make a list of what must be on the table, right? You have you are there. You can use should be on the table. You know, and if you are here, then you got to make a list. Make sure you have your thesis with you. If that night, suppose you go out and go through your thesis, make sure you bring it back from your car or whatever you know you have that, or you have your notes to write and all the list that you got to bring. Make sure you have that one. That is it on this side? Okay, and this one leads to point number 8. Point number 8 is about principal presentation. So the PowerPoint, I think I went through the PowerPoints now, right? But the point I want to note here is that keep it short, put in the extras at the back with some answers. So you have a lot more. You remember when you said to me just now, you see when you read chapter 2, you find something else that you find interesting or important rather. You want to include, but you're not sure. You can include that, but include that after the word thank you, right? In your PowerPoint, after the word thank you, you can put other parts of your thesis after thank you, right? So if the examiner were to ask, how about this? How about that? Oh, I have that. Let me go through my slides, and I can explain to them. Right? So for some expected and unexpected questions, put that in. You are kind of prepared, and so in the way the examiner says, she was expecting, she came prepared with the presentation as well. So in case that you are here, right? Sometimes in the presentation, the chairperson, this is the chairperson's role, by the way, there are 3 possible scenarios. One is that they allow you to present, right? allow you to present, and in the presentation itself, there's sub scenario as well. They allow you to present kind of freehand, so you can present, you can take 15-20 minutes to present, you know. But there are times they say, give you 15 minutes, they can even give you 10 minutes, they can even give you 5 minutes. So be prepared for those different scenarios. If the presentation is really short, right? So what do? You go to your title, you go to your research questions, you will go to your theoretical contribution. Those are the three parts that's important. Your title, your research questions, and your theoretical contribution. Because you want to emphasize, you want to get them to understand what your research is very quickly, is from your title, right? And then you want them to know if the direction of your research, that's your research question. You want them to know that you have made a significant impact to knowledge, is your theoretical contribution. So, and at the very least, those three, right? And those three are, by the way, the 3 points of your thesis. And they say, okay, tell me about your thesis in a short paragraph. Those are the 3 points: your title, your research question, and your theoretical contribution. Right? So, if that's 5 minutes they give you, right? Now, if you're here, you can do a different strategy also. You can still print out the presentation, right? You can dish out, you can give up to the examiner. This is my presentation. Right? So even though they don't allow you to present, you can still present using the handouts and the printouts. So you can still can talk. They say, just explain to me what you don't use the PowerPoint. Just explain to me. Yeah? So if you're here, you can still use the handout. But if they do not want to have the handout, and if you're over there, you need to be able to make a verbal presentation without the PowerPoint. So be ready for that scenario as well. And I've seen that scenario. Of course, the last scenario is no presentation at all. They go straight to the question and answer. And this depends on the chairperson, right? So some chairperson have a attitude to want to be fast, assume that the examiners have read thoroughly and go straight to the question and answer. By the way, my PhD, Viva, I did not have presentation. It went straight to question and answer. It's like, and I did it in my supervisor's office. They pull out a chair for me to sit, 2 other chairs for the examiners, and said, okay, I'll come back later. he left me with the examiners. He doesn't want to sit together. He came back like 1 hour later or something. Okay, so be ready for a verbal presentation. So if they say in the no PowerPoint, you just got to make a verbal presentation. So that is all the possible scenarios. Number 9, principle of mastery projection, mastery of keys, knowing where the key pages are. I have one student, now he's a professor now, right, in UKM. Probably seen him before, Casanova. So he, whenever there's a question, he says, if you look at page 138, I've written this. So people, he knows the pages, he memorized the pages so well. I've written this is in paragraph 2 in my page, or 212. So the examiners were very impressed. This guy knows in and out, his thesis in and out. So now you may not be able to do that, but you do need to know where your key pages are. Meaning, you tag them, your literature review, your research questions, or your key findings. You put a tag in the the tag, right? The color tag, right? Put a tag, but not too many. Otherwise, I've seen people doing this tag every line. Like every page there's a tag. You just have to have tags for the important areas. You do not want to do this when you're. Oh God, that looks bad. right? So you want to be able to find the pages, tag the pages. So that's you want to show that you know where things are. Right? So it shows that mastery, like mastery projection of you master your knowledge, you master your work. Yeah? So you're not like the slave, you're master of your work. Right? So know where the key pages are by tagging it. The key literature and key figures. This is a question that they might ask, right? What are the key figures? Who are the key theories? What are the key theories in what you're studying? So you need to know that. But sometimes they slice it differently, right? And sometimes it's not easy to predict. Yeah. For example, CSR, who are the key figures in CSR? You need to know that, you need to be able to answer that. They go bigger or smaller. Who are the main writers about Beijing? Oh God, you know. You're studying Beijing, right? Or they say, how about manufacturing industry? Who are the main writers? Now with AI, it's easy to do, right? Because you ask DeepSeek and DeepSeek can answer for you. But you want to have those questions, want to have the answers beforehand, right? So, but usually they don't go too far, right? They don't go, employer performance, what are the theories? They don't go too far. But be ready if they were to ask. And if you do not know, you say, I'm not sure, I do not know, and just be truthful about it. It's fine if you do not know, right? So what they will say is that then some examiners, to show that they are doing their work, or then you need to read this literature, then you need to read this theory, so they want to show that they have done their work too. So some examiners don't do that. I do that for methodology. So if you listen to my examination, I usually say research strategy, research philosophy, Norman Becky. I would say that. It's almost like a template for me to respond all the time for methodology. So key literature, key figures, right? Physically bookmark your key pages. So that one I explained to you now, right? So that's number 9. Now we go to number 10. Principle of self-projection, fragrance, and so this is when you are here. You are here, then make sure you don't smell sweat. You smell good. It does not need to be too much perfume, but just enough to be pleasant. And dressing up, dressing down. In USM, you do not need to put on too formal. Sorry, my eyes are too formal, like a suit and tie. But I have one student who did that, right? He's in communications, so he put in tie, and because it makes him feel more confident. And here's one example that his grade actually went up from bottom and up because his communication. The Viva helps him. Usually Viva doesn't change things or drop, right? But in his case, the Viva helped him to improve his scale, right? So it was quite impressive because he's also from a communication background. So, and he wore a suit and a tie. But for a woman, you just dress well. You don't need to, don't put on a t-shirt. Make sure a t-shirt. In Malaysia, we tend to have this, for men actually, you have standard of having collar. Right? Anyway, it's so always emphasized in Malaysian formal context, have collar. For some reason, collar makes you look more formal. But definitely not t-shirt, and not like you. But here it's okay, right? Campus environment, okay. But for the do not wear a t-shirt. So there's something like what you're wearing right now is fine, but do not need to be too formal, but decent. So you could be seen as a serious person there. Nothing, no weird pictures of Marvel comic or something like that, or picture of Mao Zedong. Talking about leader, a political figure, avoid those things. Okay, number 11, principle of trap avoiding. And this is I put this in because I've once in a while we have this kind of question, right? And that's like, what is it that you want to redo? If I allow you to make correction of your thesis, what would you correct? And then you answer the question, right? That is okay. Then you do that, right? Then you have to do what you suggest. That you don't. So you do not answer question in a way that you have to do it, right? This is a trap question. So you self-criticize, and then you have to make those improvements. So if they ask you to redo something, you say, okay, if I were to redo this, I will take this research, for instance, this one with answer, to do a comparative study between Beijing and Bangkok, or something like that. So, but this is for the future research, but not now, or something like that. Or you can answer that, in a way that doesn't diminish your research, doesn't make you have problems correcting it. Because if they say you find something that can correct, you say you correct, and then, for instance, an area that you can correct, you can say about language, and you can say you can correct the language or spelling or something like that. Those things you can do fairly easily, right? So do not answer in a way, it's a trap question in a way that makes you do a lot more work than you should be doing. So that's question number 11, principle number 11. And number 12 is principle of anticipation of points of challenge. This is where you probably, I can only see certain things, you can only probably see certain things. Sometimes it's good to get feedback from your friends or from others to see, what are the questions, what are the criticisms that can come that you might not anticipate, might not expect, right? And then be prepared. So these are a principle that is, not knowing where the attack may be coming from. You just, you want to allow yourself to be prepared even more before the Viva, right? So you can make presentation to your friends and get your friends to have some criticism, have some critique. Sometimes you never thought about certain things, but then you still have time to prepare for to answer that question, right? So this is a basic principle anticipation. And again, if a suggestion that's been or criticism that's been made by the examiner and the suggestion or criticism doesn't affect much, then it can still follow it. But if we suggest, he or she suggests to you that you got to collect new data set, that's where you want to assert, you want to argue back. Right? So this is basically to open up to the idea that there's a possibility that there are things that we haven't thought about yet. Right? So it's good to get other people's feedback in between now and then. Make your presentation, give your presentation to other friends that then listen and give their feedback to you. Okay, these are some extended Viva guidelines and what's your PhD about. But this one we have gone through this now, so need to know to explain it in 3 minutes, 4 minutes for your PhD, like the verbal presentation. Anyway, that's the 12 principles, right, for Viva presentation. All right. Any question from you, Chenran?
It's very clearly, and Could you send it to me?
I can. It's already in the Telegram, by the way, but I can send again. But it's in the Telegram. We can look at the Telegram.
Yeah. Let me send it to Yanni. I have it.
Okay, you have it. Okay.
I have.
Oh, thank you.
You all can accept Telegram from China?
Yeah.
WeChat?
You need the link. Yeah.
VPN also. Okay. So in China, what can you use? WeChat?
WeChat. Only WeChat.
Only WeChat?
Yeah.
Only WeChat?
Yeah. I think Ding is another political.
Alibaba.
Alibaba.
Yeah, but
Okay.
most usually in the government.
WhatsApp is that, but we use WhatsApp business.
What's that business?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
也要 VPN 吧 also
Yes,
forbidden VPN.
also
Actually VPN is forbidden illegal.
Okay.
I can't all fun.
Oh, it's
I
bad.
don't know why.
发给我微信吧。
Okay.
Professor, I can't log in again.
You can log in again. Okay. WhatsApp you mean? You cannot.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
So if I have something to tell you, I only can email you. Email.
Oh, okay.
马来西亚的号码。
Okay.
啊？
用马来西亚的号码就可以。
我是用的马来，不行。
也不行。
华为。
用的华为。
这是你的那个是不是？
Yeah. Oh, Huawei.
他不让我下载。
Okay. That will.
我的这个也是动了好
So
久。
email is fine, right?
Email is fine.
Email is fine.
Okay. The WhatsApp good.
WeChat is fun.
Yeah, Hanif is trying to use WeChat.
It looks like a Chinese.
Yeah, Hanif is
WeChat.
join us.
You use WeChat.
Yeah.
Maybe I should.
Billions of
Huh?
billions of users.
Okay. We use WeChat. Yeah.
我觉得应该是
We use WeChat.
WeChat is more simple than WhatsApp.
Oh, more simple than WhatsApp.
You can directly put the field to the Windows, chat window, but if we use WhatsApp, we must select this one, then search.
Oh, okay. Right. WeChat will be monitored by the Chinese government. And everyone wants to know about, want to get our data. The Russians, what do they use? Russian?
Russia.
Oh yes. Last question is very important. I want to confirm the pronunciation of your name because I must be. I think it's difficult for me. Yeah. Mohammed Reevany Bastami, right?
Reevany Bustami, B-U-S Bustami. Not Basta, Bustami. Reevany
Bustami.
Yeah. You pronounce it like a Malay spelling, right? Malay spelling is how Bu is Bu, right? U-S Bu.
像拼音一样。
Yes.
So it's not like English, so it's like Reevany Bustami. Yeah. Full name is Muhammad Reevany Bustami.
So can I introduce you like this? My supervisor is Bastami, Reevany Bastami.
Reevany
Is that right?
Bustami. So you do want to use, that's when you got to use my formal one. So Associate Professor Dr. Reevany Bustami, not Basta, Reevany. If you introduce me in this context, this is where you use the formal one.
So how about the full name about Muhammad?
You can use the Muhammad Reevany Bustami, yes. That'd be full name. So yeah. But I don't mind that much. So you use you need to have title in this context. You need to have the Associate Professor Dr. Reevany Bustami or Muhammad Reevany Bustami.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you cannot skip the title, otherwise you might seem to be not respectful, so you do not want to have that impression. Yeah, so well, our Asian culture is very much formal culture, basically, right? So in China, you got Cntre as 老师，
老师
像张老师，
呀，张老师。
okay.
But we also call the professor and the family name.
Okay, so like what? 张博士，张教授。
So we do not give we do not call the given name. We offer
The full name,
not the full name.
family name.
just the family name, right? Yeah. Okay, right. Okay. Yeah. What are the questions you have, Chenran, you want to ask, or you're on the right track now? So you have your PowerPoints are there. It's just now to integrate that into a presentation that you are explaining presentation, right? I don't see a lot of problems. I see that you have something clear, you have something significant to convey to the examiners, to the committee. So just be ready and repeat your presentation many times to yourself in front of the mirror, and then and time yourself. Your timing just now is fine, is good. So you were doing less than 15 minutes in your presentation now. Yeah, about 14 minutes. Your presentation about 14 minutes. So it's good timing. Yeah, so and oftentimes usually they will give you, most chairperson will allow more than that, right? They will say 15 minutes, but they will allow more than that. But for preparation, be prepared for 15 minutes, 10 minutes, even 5 minutes. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. You can do this, Sunan. So I'm confident you can do this. If you feel stressful, that's good. You don't want to feel stress-free. You want to feel stressful, but not too much stress. Some level of stress is good, not too much stress. So remember, if you feel stressful or whatever, remember, just be clear about what you want to say and say it. That's all. Just be clear about what you want to say and say it. If you're not clear, then be clear about what you want to say, right? Be clear about your title, your research, your research questions, your methodology. Just be clear about all those things. And then you're fine, and you're able to explain. Then it should be fine, because from what I see that you're able to explain and convey your thoughts. So, and your thesis is strong to stand for a Viva session like this. So, and how thick is your thesis again? I can't remember. Remember how many pages?
你的论文有几页？
How many pages do you have? Your thesis?
师姐问你了，
Let me see. Wait.
It's okay, right? It's about 300 pages or something like that, right?
Yeah, maybe the connection is not good.
Okay, all right.
How many is best?
The more the better, generally speaking. Yeah, generally speaking. Oh, yeah, then it's important to learn. We want to have a backup.
My slide or my thesis? Sorry.
Your thesis.
Yeah, your thesis.
Thesis. Include references. 2059.
200 嘛
Oh, sorry, 259. Sorry. It's my graph.
Okay, right, that's fine.
22要吗？
Not 2000, 2000 is.
250
Yeah, 200. Sorry, 200.
300, yeah, that's good.
59, yeah.
300, it becomes.
the mortality is more than
1,000 words. Really.
Already printed my thesis.
Oh, that. Huh? What's that? What are you showing me?
Cannot see.
Oh, this is my PhD thesis.
Okay. No, you don't need to show me. How come so thin? Oh, there. Oh, right. Okay. Don't need to show me. I'm just asking. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. Now,
I think it's a convenience for me to review my thesis.
One last thing, Chenran, you want to have at least one backup system, just in case this one is a problem. You want to have another laptop, another phone, or something to to be online.
Okay.
Right? So if anything goes bad, they have immediately you have another one.
Okay.
Online, already so connected, right? So, in fact, I would advise to have two, not just one. There's a backup if you're doing online. You have two, and that has happened before. Who did this? I think was it Eco? I remember somebody, one of my students actually. This is during COVID time, if I'm not mistaken. So, there were three. So one, and then was something wrong with it, and she has another one, and then there's the third one. She was using a third one. So I think it was during COVID time, where COVID no one can leave, right? So that it was the third, and then she went to the hotel to make sure that the connection is strong. So she did her Viva in the hotel. Who did this? I forgot. Was it Eco? Eco, I think. I forgot who. Yeah, but I remember went to the hotel and then with 3 connections. I think it's Eco, I forgot. Yeah, so at the minimum to have one backup, Chenran, and make sure when you log in, the other one also logs in with your name on it, right? So you have to, if you are using online, if you are coming here, then that would be wonderful. But if you have still doing over there, then at least have 2. I would advise 3. So you have 3 systems ready. Anything goes bad, then you have another one, then you have another one. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay, so okay, anyone else want to say anything or share anything? You still have 1 week, so you have plenty of time.
Excuse me, Dr. Reevany, I have a question. During the prayer of Chenran, you asked her to check that whether the key findings she lists is response to the question 1, 2, 3. So my question is, during our progress report or Viva, shall we list the key findings generally, or we should list the theoretical contribution instead of the key findings, just to respond to research questions? Which one shall we do?
Okay, the answer is between the two. In the presentation, Viva presentation, it's more important to highlight the theoretical contributions, because the key findings or the findings, there's a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
So you could still present your key findings. If they ask, then make it after thank you. But then you have a lot.
Yeah.
You have a lot of findings. But key findings, the word key should be, something that is much more important or salient. So it should be like 5, 6, 7 key findings or something like that. But the theoretical contribution, that's the one that you want to present, which is part of your findings as well. The theoretical contribution is still part of your findings.
Then the theoretical contribution should be the answers, response to the question, research
Not
question
necessarily.
or generally.
Not necessarily. If you look at Chenran's work, it's the fourth research question.
Yeah.
So because theoretical contribution can and oftentimes involve not just the data, but also the analysis of the data.
Yeah.
Right. So it's whereas question 1, 2, 3 can be data and findings mainly, but theoretical contribution can be a synthesis of the findings or the analysis of the findings. So it depends on the research question, but generally speaking, that will be the case, right? So not all research questions have theoretical contribution, but definitely at the end you want to have theoretical contribution from the findings. So
Then in the pre, which part shall we give the response to the research questions, or we don't need to do that? Shall we list some part just to make the response to the research questions, or?
Yes, in the sense that you could do that after the thank you part.
Or after thank you.
After thank you, you put all your findings in your research. The key findings rather, right? Because in the findings will be basically the whole chapter of chapter 4 or 5
yeah.
will be the findings, right? So, but the key findings are more the selected ones. Yeah. So there's a useful question, by the way, because they might ask their key findings as well, but in that case you should be able to answer based on your research questions, and at least maybe a more systematic way to answer that question. Question number 1, and that is actually you'll be doing that in your chapter 2, right? In your chapter 4 or chapter 4 or chapter 5.
Because that we pay many. We usually will concentrate on the writing, cost many time on the chapter 4 and 5. So in our Chinese logical, we should pray much to show that we make the effort, concentrate on the analysis of data of chapter 4. So we usually pray so much on the findings, just a list, finding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The findings is actually the one that we want to present, but the theoretical contribution is where the real advancement of knowledge occurs, because it's theoretical, not just empirical. Right? So the findings can be somewhat empirical or maybe not. But the theoretical is definitely part of the findings or the analysis of the findings. So it's the important part and the most important part. That will also be seen as an important part of the thesis, right? PhD thesis especially. So it's like the advancement of knowledge, not just discovery of some data. Right? It's the advancement of knowledge. So basically, theoretical contribution is also about connecting to theory, right? Not just data findings, right? Yeah.
So it sounds like that we should focus on the theoretical contribution during the Viva, but in the progress report, shall we concentrate on the findings because it shows the progress of.
The progress report, you can talk about findings. That would be sufficient too.
Yeah, thank you. Got that. Thank you.
Okay, Chenran, are you all right? Yeah.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay. As you mentioned, the theoretical contribution is very important. But after I review my research, I found, in fact, I don't provide any new theory to explain how employee perceive and attitudinal or behavioral to CSR. But I think one of the motivation of my thesis is to combine the different theories like social exchange theory, social identity theory, and organizational justice theory, and also combine the alienation of Marx theory to explain the different to explain the relationship from different angles. And when I put them in this context, I found the relationship is very complex and not straightforward. It's mediating by many factors, and I think the relationship is employee specific and context specific. There is no single theory can fully explain the relationship, but when only consider employee attitude, CSR perception, and employee performance, I found the most relevant theory can explain the relationship is a social exchange theory, but we still need to pay more attention on other factors while mediating this relationship. So when company or government want to use CSR as a useful tool to improve employee performance and then improve their organizational competitiveness, we need to pay more attention on employee and to investigate how they feel and perceive or experience and the expectations about CSR. But I don't know if it's deserve PhD thesis. Because most of Chinese students want to offer a new theory or very how to say it. It's a very complex theoretical framework. We think it's a big contribution to theory.
Yeah.
So that point confused me.
Then you need to be clear about what your theoretical contribution is, right? So this is where you want to be. If you're not clear, you got to be clear right now. You know about the centrality, the importance of your the analysis where employees' interpretation, the meanings they attach to events and experiences, right, play the crucial role in influencing the performance. So that is the core part of your theory, right? And how does it manifest differently? When it is interpreted in a positive way, how it is manifest or impact differently on performance when it's also interpreted positively. So that is a theoretical contribution. So you have the phenomena that's happening in manufacturing industry, manufacturing companies. The type of CSR, 3 types, and then how it is being processed, digested, interpreted by the employees, and how that in turn affect the performance. So that is actually, see, I'm articulating your theory now, right? So that is actually the important part of explanation. So the explanation about this phenomena of connection between CSR, employee attitude or interpretation or meanings, and the performance. That is theory. That is the theory that you have built or established. So that is the part that you need to be clear, right? So if I were to break down your theory, there's three parts. There's the CSR part, there's the performance, and there's also the meanings or the interpretation of the events and experiences. So there's how these three parts come together, right? And that produces a new theoretical understanding of the phenomena within the manufacturing companies in Beijing. So, right? Maybe you can further explain that, but that is the essence, right? The main part of the theory. So you want to be clear about that whenever there's a question asked and in your presentation. Okay?
Okay.
Amen?
Thank you.
Again, we look at this one. Are we streaming this or?
Yeah, streaming.
Streaming it, okay. So it's in YouTube again, okay. Yeah, can access YouTube, right, Chenran? There?
Okay. Yes, I can use YouTube.
So you can use VPN again, right?
VPN
Because I need to use the VPN.
What is this VPN?
is not cheap.
It's not cheap?
It's not. It's
Oh god. Yeah, I know. And it's like.
Oh, it's not. You need to pay VPN.
yeah, because it's illegal.
It's illegal.
Yeah, we only use it secretly.
I
Oh
see.
my god, okay, don't tell me my secrets. Okay. But again, we're not discussing anything like, no, we are just academic discussion, so.
No, it's also kind of flexible. So
That's
you are studying abroad, so it's okay.
Okay, yeah, we are humble,
The
but
security part of our university strongly repeated that.
Oh,
Don't use that.
of course, this university and our government thing will be, emphasizing that, just like.
But I'm wondering that if you don't use it, how you know the scholars in the whole world their
Yeah.
research is about?
True, yeah. Yeah.
Only used by email.
Okay, email. Okay, Chenran, then it's 12:30 now. So, anything you can always communicate with me again. If you cannot communicate directly, you can communicate through WeChat, through Hanif, or any of my friends here. They can communicate with me. So, all right, we ready. I'll tell you to pray, but I don't know whether I should say that to you or not. Maybe I should do you up like pray before an important event. Pray. Pai Sun no. Okay. That's interesting to say. Okay, I don't want to. I don't instigate anything. But should I advise students to pray?
You can say pray just like an encouragement, but not an
Okay.
action. We
Nice,
could
yeah.
not do that action.
Oh, okay, all right.
You can do it on your phone.
Okay, never mind. Then I'm just saying it just like encouragement. Yeah. All right. Okay. Okay, Chenran, I'll see you again. Be in touch, right? Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Well, I'm still sharing. Okay. Gotta start sharing then. All right. Okay, then we have Muhammad there, right? Stay safe. All right. Okay. And Charlie.
Are they still online?
They are still there.
Yeah, I'm still online.
No, talking about that. Okay, we will leave.
Yeah, I want to stay with us. I want to stay with you.
Okay, yeah.
什么叫 stay with you？
All right, okay. Okay.